I need to warn you that the amount of cringe I'm about to expose you to might be physically painful. Are you ready? What do you get when you combine a grown-ass billionaire, a 12-year-old sense of humor, and a total disregard for accountability? You get this joke. So how did we end up with a major news organization getting a 69 tattooed on its forehead? First, Elon Musk labeled CBC News government-funded, which is confusing because Twitter's own criteria for that label says that the news org, quote, may have varying degrees of government involvement over editorial content, which is absolutely not true for CBC. Its funding is voted on by all members of parliament, and its editorial independence is protected in Canadian law. In response to this, Elon changed it to 70% government funded, because CBC has other sources of revenue like ads. And when one user made a joke, he changed it to 69. You know who shared this joke where the punchline is one of Canada's institutions? Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
I did think it was funny how she says that it's not government funded. Parliament votes on all of their funding. Bitch, do you not see how that's the same fucking thing?
Yeah, it's not state controlled because the whole government agrees on it. Oh,
right.
Well, shit.
and they have laws that are specifically designed for this to ensure that they have because government is always really like they go out of their way to make sure that they follow their own laws. That's the way that works.
Yeah, and I mean I've said this 100 times, but I'll say it again. Just like in the US, just the fact that the FCC exists and you have to like ask for permission to have a TV station means to me like that there is no like free press, really. You know what I mean? Because the government can just say, no, you're not allowed to broadcast. So it's like just that in itself, I think is a huge like
Well, remember the thing? Speech. Remember the thing that had come out several years ago? It was some chick with, I want to say it was ABC. And it was like a hot mic, like off-air thing where she was going on like a tirade because she had the story on Epstein and all of that shit, and the network wouldn't run it because they didn't want to burn their bridge with the royal family. They were planning on doing interviews and stuff with the royal family, and if they had run her story, it would have burned that bridge. So yeah, getting interviews with the royal family is more important than busting open a child sex predator ring that's been running for years that's made up of like the world elites
on this continent too, not over there where the royals live, where frankly I don't give a shit what happens over there. So
right, it's just absolute craziness.
Yeah. Oh well, it is crazy that people just still, whatever their news is, they watch it and they believe it, without doing any sort of checking or even grain of saltingness,
Well, did you see the other thing that Rachel what's her face has been Gilmore? And the only reason I keep seeing it is because people keep sharing it in fucking group chats that I'm in. Like, I've got her blocked, so I try not to see her stuff. But people
who's Rachel sharing. Gilmore?
I don't know, some reporter or some reporter. But people keep sharing it, so I keep seeing it. She's been on a big tirade because Elon took away the blue checks, the legacy blue checks. So now if you want a blue check, you gotta pay for your blue check. I think the only ones who don't have to pay for it are like government, like legitimate government institutions and political like people who are in office. They get to keep theirs because they're politicians or whatever. They're prominent political figures. But I think all of the like news organizations and all of the like journalists that had a blue check because they're in the news media, I think they all lost theirs. So unless they're willing to pay $8 a month for it, they don't get to have a blue check.
Ooh, man, what a burden.
Well, and there were people saying like, I think this dumb bitch was even one of them. And
one of them go.
If you choose to run that intro again at any point, it's in the video list. The title of it is That Dumb Bitch Rachel. So if you ever want to run this one again, that's where you can find. I feel like this is kind of a one-off intro, but we might have use for it again at some point in the future. But anyway, the big thing is like all these journalists lost their blue check, so now nobody knows who to actually trust and who to follow on this stuff, and people are going to die because they're not going to be able to get their vital information that they need from trusted sources. It's like, if your blue check was really doing all of that, like
keeping you alive,
keeping other people alive at that, like y'all are making themselves out to be these fucking heroes. Like, if it wasn't for our blue check, everybody would die.
Well, I'm trying to put myself in the position of a person who needs that. I'm thinking, okay, I get up in the morning and I'm hungry, and I don't know what to do about it unless somebody on Twitter with a blue check mark tells me, that I should go put sustenance in my body. I might die without constant reminders to not run my car inside of my garage from blue check marks on Twitter. I'd be a dead man.
Well, speaking of needing to get food, if you're looking for a Trader Joe's, apparently you need to stay away from all of the black parts of Los Angeles anyway, and I'm sure this applies to the rest of the country. There are no Trader Joe's in the black parts of LA. All around, everywhere else, but not. And obviously this is because of structural racism and that they don't put the stores there. It has nothing to do with actually wanting to get paid for what people are taking out of the store, getting windows broken and violent crime and what have you.
It's funny. I'm working on pulling something up to prove my point. But yeah, there's always something like the food deserts and this and that, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, like there's places where certain grocery stores don't exist. I mean, I live in one. I mean, I have to get in a car and drive. I mean, even just to a Dollar General, I have to get in a car and drive. But to go to a real grocery store, it's over 30 minutes away. So, like, I mean, that could qualify me as living in a food desert, right. I guess. But then it's not it goes back to everything. It's not a black and white thing. It's a poor thing. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay. So here's a map of Florida and Trader Joe's locations. And it looks like they just hate rednecks also. It's not just black people. It's rednecks, because this is the redneck area here and in here. And there's no Trader Joe's locations there. So
what you're saying is, I guess if we go based on the California map and the Florida map, Trader Joe's just hates poor people.
Yeah. Look, oh yeah, they throw Gainesville a bone because there's a college there, but otherwise, look, it's like they just stick to these outermost populated areas with money for some reason.
Craziness. I don't know why people would put a store in a place where people have money and a desire to buy things instead of, somewhere that everyone's poor or, there's a high probability of your store getting looted and windows smashed out. I don't know. It seems like a bad business plan. Only go where people want to pay for what you have.
Well, they have them in St. Pete, and there are lots of different let's just say it's a very diverse area. So, I don't know. But there's not a lot of riots there typically. So,
is St. Pete kind of a touristy place? I know I've heard about it, but I've heard about it outside of just you.
Oh yeah, there's the beaches, and then downtown St. Pete's, really big, but it's, I don't know. It's in a lot of ways it does remind me of those other gross cities, and like the homelessness can be pretty awful, in some places, and you got to be careful where you go at night and whatnot. And, they're really pushing for rent control and all that there because it's just too expensive to live there, because that's what happens when you make somewhere really nice and everybody wants to move there.
That's why you live out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of trailers and an entire lot that's just full of broke down cars that are in the process of being rebuilt into demolition derby cars. And, like, live out in a place like this. Nobody wants to move here. And then it can be as nice as you want. Leave the outside of the house looking a little bit sketchy, and then just completely renovate the inside, where the inside is amazing. Nobody will ever suspect, and people will stay the fuck away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Life hack.
They're just pretty sure they're going to get shot if they go fuck with you. So it works. I went to a Church's Chicken recently, and it's funny because I didn't really realize it was a Church's Chicken at first. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Not all of them are like this. But I was in Tampa, and it was like Texas Church's Chicken, and it was like nice looking on the outside, and this and that. It was like a different logo, you know. And I'm like, oh, it's like a new whatever chicken place. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is just Church's, you know. But it was good. I mean, I don't know. It's been a long time since I had Church's. I don't know if they've improved anything or changed anything food wise, but it was a bit of a different motif. It was almost like they were trying to also, or maybe in some areas instead of, appeal to like a more country crowd versus a more ghetto crowd.
I get what you're
Churches
saying.
are typically located.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to be like coy about it. I mean, yeah, that's where churches are. The chicken place, obviously. But yeah, they've got a little bit of the biscuits are good. It's good chicken, man. I think I don't know if I like it better than Popeyes. I don't know, it's hard to say. I'd have to do a side-by-side taste test.
Yeah,
I like Church's better.
I've got the kids sold on Zaxby's. We have Zaxby's around here.
You guys got Bojangles?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I've ever actually eaten one. I just always used to see it on road trips and laugh at the name.
There's a Raising Cane's over in Owensboro where I work, and every time I'm like Stephanie and I were going to stop in there on Friday when we were on our way to down to Birmingham, and it was just like swamped. Every time I go by there, it's completely swamped. I'm like, I'm not waiting in a line that's backed up down the road for some fucking chicken strips. Like I just don't. Yeah. I don't want fast food chicken that badly.
Well, and like, okay, like part of me is like, oh, that must mean it's really good, but I'm like, it can't be the level, whatever that graph is, you know, where the returns and then they start to plane off. You know what I mean? However good it can possibly be, it's not good enough to wait in that line for. You know,
it doesn't matter how big of a hurry I'm in or how hungry I am. If I pull up to a fast food place and there's more than 3 cars in line, I'm pulling back out. I'm leaving. I'm like, that defeats the purpose of fast food. If I can't pull straight up, get it, and like, you know, if I see people waiting, I'm probably not going to be joining them.
It's always been chicken. Now that I think about it, anytime I've seen that, there was when Popeyes came out with their chicken sandwich for like 3 weeks. You couldn't go to a Popeyes because there was a line around the block. And then then Chick-fil-A, a lot of times that's a long line at Chick-fil-A. I just don't, and it's not even like they're slow. It's just people like that chicken. Maybe I'm in the right business.
You need to get you some big corporate contracts for your chicken.
I don't know. Sounds like work.
Get in good with like a local chain of grocery stores and supply them with all of their chicken needs.
Legally, I can't do that. Legally, I can sell to restaurants, but I can't sell to people that are then going to sell to somebody else like raw chicken. I think that's like, it's like, it has to be whoever's going to cook the chicken is who I have to sell it to. So I can sell direct to customer or restaurants. And not that I'm opposed to bending the rules. I'm just saying you probably have to find a pretty cool chain of grocery stores or something. And then my other issue is that people suggest like, you know, like, oh, sell wings to the bar down the street. And it's like, it takes 2.5 chickens to make like 1 order of wings. So like, then I have like a lot of other parts, you know, to sell, which if they'll buy the other ones, of course, that's great. But you know, there's challenges when it comes to selling, you know, in bulk to things like that I want to overcome. I'm not saying I'm lazy or it's impossible. Just not there yet.
There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, if I can find a restaurant to buy like, you know, 100 or 200 whole birds for me a month, I could do that. You know, that'd be great.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of the neighborhoods that the Church's chickens are usually found in, I don't know if you remember,
but not Trader Joe's.
But not Trader Joe's, right? I don't know if you remember the singer Akon, but Akon has a suggestion for those people who are found in those areas typically.
Like, my goal is to get everybody to move back to Africa. That's my goal.
Okay.
I want to get as many African Americans back home to Africa as I possibly can. Because I know the day they move back, everything they fighting for in America, they will not have to fight for over there. All this struggle that they struggled over there, they're going to come there with this mindset, with this mentality, with the finances that they built, you know, the equity in life, and bring it back and invest that in Africa. man, Africa could be the strongest nation in the world. Like,
I like Akon. Like, I'm sure you can pull up some shit. I'm not like super familiar with him, but like, I'm sure you can pull up some shit that make me go, oh god, never mind. But like, as far as like I know, like I like Akon. Like I know he does like a lot of charity work in Africa for like, what is it like toilets and water and stuff like that for people who don't have that, which is just incredible. Like that's really awesome. And like as far as what he's saying, man, like my grandparents, they used to do like big construction shit, and they worked all over the world. And they said the place like Africa was like the nicest people anywhere in the world was Africa. It was like their favorite place to go. They felt so at home, they'd go other places and they're like, my grandfather really didn't like people who use their hand as toilet paper. So I'd hear about that a lot in certain parts of the world. But they just could not say enough good stuff about Africa, that it was just beautiful. The people were great. And I mean, like, I think there's a lot to, what he's saying. And so the book I'm reading now is about like the Acadians, and they were people who like left France in like the 1600s because it was gross and disgusting. And there was religious persecution too that some of them faced, but they left France and went to, basically like Nova Scotia area. And it was like, there was just paradise, right? Like they were pretty much left alone. They traded. It was bountiful. There wasn't disease and stuff like there was in France. But when people would come there from France, like from the city, they go, oh my God, these people live in such poor squalor, but then they lived there for 2 years and go, oh my God, I never want to leave. This is actually great. But it's just like when people from the city come out to the country and they're like, ew, what? Like, this is so awful. And you're like, no, you don't understand. It's so much better. So, I mean, it might be a lot of that same thing, man. I mean, you go to Africa, it's probably a lot of it's pretty empty. You can go and fucking do your thing and live your life. I don't know. I like it. You're just glad he's telling him to go back. I know you have a whole different take on it.
That's a very concise way of putting it.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was Johnny on Peddling Fiction. We were talking about it the other day because he's from Chicago, and Chicago is very heavily segregated, like naturally so. Like, and that's something that I'm a big
it's like that up north a lot compared to down here,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's deliberate, obviously, because of Reconstruction and everything post Civil War. Like that was the plan, and obviously it hasn't worked out super great. Well, I mean that's what he's talking about is like South Africa with the heavy integration that had happened there, and then the apartheid and everything else that's gone on. Like there's a lot of extra shit that's gone on with all of that. But like Chicago's heavily segregated. There are a lot of big cities that are very heavily segregated. Even
this might be a fair point.
That's also that is very true. But like it seems weird to say that I'm a big proponent of segregation, but like human beings naturally segregate. It's not not just by color of skin. Like there are values and religious and all types of other forms of segregation that happen naturally in society or in nature that a lot of our modern policy and stuff have tried to create this forced integration that's unnatural. And so it creates huge amounts of tension and stress, and people don't get along. You're mixing, you're mixing races, classes. Never would have saw that coming. I thought for sure Trader Joe's would have a heavy presence there. But you're mixing a lot of people that shouldn't be mixing, and normally wouldn't, if not kind of pushed into that situation that's being created. So yeah, I mean if that's a solution, then I'd be all for it. I mean that's kind of, I'm not saying go back to Africa, but why don't we just like set aside a spot and be like, here, if you're not happy with the system and the way things are, go. this is your spot. Go
It's not
there.
even like a negative thing. I mean, that's a chance for new opportunity. I mean,
right.
if, let's say, I mean, not that long ago, I was desperately looking to get out of the city and a piece of land where I could homestead, so, it might be an opportunity. And then, of course, it makes it sound kind of, Indian reservation-y. So we got to be careful on the tone we present. But, but no, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It sucks because, and I don't know the exact definition of the word segregation, I guess, if that defines forcible or not or what, but let's just say it just means people being separated for whatever reason, by some sort of category. Then yeah, people do that naturally for all sorts of reasons, and that's fine. I think I have no problem with people integrating, but forced integration causes tensions that shouldn't be there, where people will integrate just fine for all sorts of reasons. Either just similar goals in life, they just want to live in the same geographical region a lot of times, but they get along fine. Again, I look at my community, as a decent example of that. A lot of time, I think commerce brings people together, probably better than anything. If trade, hey, you have something that makes my life better, I have something that makes your life better. Hey, we're buddies. So there's all sorts of reasons why people have throughout history integrated voluntarily and peacefully. So
well, that's anytime I've made the segregation argument on like social media or something, I always get oh, you just want to go back to Jim Crow South. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that it should be forced. I'm saying stop forcing the integration side of it. Like, why do we have to have these DEI requirements for everything? Just let people group naturally the way they do, and don't get mad when it happens. I
mean, half of my family got here, let's just say after the whole Civil War thing. So, I mean, like, I'm like, if we're going to say, go back to where you came from, I mean, I'm more of a candidate for that than, than most of the black people, so, that's why definitely not something I'm saying. That's why I'm always like, I don't really like it when people say that. 'Cause I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, so, I really don't want to go back to Italy, or Germany, or whatever. So, yeah. But, I'd probably be more tempted to go to Africa before I would Europe.
Speaking of segregation and the differences between people, found this out. We'll get to a story on this, but today I learned white folks apparently don't wash their legs, and Twitter can't believe these idiots colonized us. So we were sitting there over the weekend at down at the Birmingham thing, or afterwards, and a bunch of us were hanging out, and we were talking about the like the different white slurs and stuff. Remember the white slur list? Because Nadia got called the N-word at school a couple times, and so I gave her the list of white slurs. I was like, just start hitting them with male monkey and everything else. Like, don't let up on all those bleach demons. Just hit them hard with everything you got. And so we were talking about the white slur list, and somebody said, have you heard the thing that black people think that white people don't wash their legs? And I said, yeah, don't wash your legs. The runoff takes care of it. And everybody just looked at me and was like, what? I was like, whoa, this is a bit. So
skip over the legs and go to the feet.
I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to find the origination of this, because I think I started this back in 2012. So we went to a bar every Wednesday night, and we'd have because they had half off burgers and beers, and I was the one that like worked out on the yard, so I was always dirty and from like actually working in the grain elevator, and everybody else were office employees that just sat at a fucking desk all day. So I get off about 15 minutes before all the other ones, and so I'd run home, take a shower, and then change clothes and meet them at the bar. And they were like, one night when we got there, one of the girls was like, how do you always get here at the same time we do? Like, you only leave 15 minutes before us, but you go home, you shower, you change clothes, and you're still here at the same time that we're here. And I said, I just don't wash my legs. Like, I wear pants all day. It's not like they got dirty or anything. It's like, get your pits, your stomach, face, balls and butt crack, and then just let the runoff take care of the rest. You don't have to wash your legs. Why would you do that? Everybody just like, what? You don't wash your legs? It's like, I'm kidding. I'm fucking with y'all. I just shower quick. But so that's been a bit. Anytime somebody's like, you shower really quick, I'm just like, I don't wash my legs. Why would you?
Huge time saver.
Yeah, runoff takes care of it. Yeah. Wash your hair, wash your body, rinse off. Everything rinses down. You're good.
Just the torso, the balls, the backside.
I'm a big advocate of less soap and less washing, to be honest. I think we do that too much. The best thing I ever did for my face was stop washing it so much. Really, when we went like a 3-year stint without having indoor plumbing, we'd go periods of time without proper showers. But then like, oh, my skin's never been in better condition. And then it would be weird because like when I take a shower somewhere, like I go to a friend's house, all right, give me a good scrubbing. Then my whole body would just get excessively greasy for like 3 days because it's like you wash all that shit off and your body's supposed to have a layer of shit on it, so it like makes up for it by excreting more fucking grease. And now they're coming out like studies are like, oh yeah, you probably shouldn't use shampoo more than once a week and this and that because it's bad for you. And it's like, yep. Being a little dirty keeps you from getting sick.
I wash my feet every time, but only my legs once a week. I wear pants. My legs don't get dirty. Doesn't seem to be an issue. Sounds like washing your legs is a waste of soap.
That's right. It's all big soap. Big soap just wants you to wash. Yeah. So you see that? What's the dishwasher commercial? The dish detergent pods, and they're like, "Oh yeah, don't run it even if it's not full." They're like, "Just run it every day." Like, it doesn't matter if your dishwasher's full, just run it. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. The soap company's telling you that. Go figure. Yeah. Jay Forte staying good and clean.
Look, you gotta at least get the feet, so that way you can take the feet pics and you can sell them on the internet.
So I don't personally have a problem with that article that was there. Like, it was in the humor section. It was good and racist. Like, I like that. It's funny, but we couldn't have that same thing reversed, right? We couldn't write an article framing it like that the other way, humorously, just have it shared around the internet, right?
That guy, and not be crucified. I mean,
yeah, I just feel like I have to make that point though. Because it was pretty insulting. I mean, just saying, they used some pretty harsh language there.
Oh, this one's pretty good. Hang on, let me pull it back up. I have a confession. I only started washing my legs after the white people don't wash their legs discourse.
Ooh, white dirty leg guilt.
Now peer pressuring white people into washing their legs. That's terrible.
Oh no. Well, you could do that between the sexes too, if we're honest. Like, my wife will even tell me, she's like, I don't want to wash my hair like every day. Wash my hair every like 3 or 4 days or something like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't wash it every day. Not with shampoo, especially they got long, pretty hair, and it's not good for you.
Mine's got too much. Mine's too oily.
Mine gets greasy.
Yeah, if I don't wash and I wear a hat most of the time too.
You got to take that break. You gotta be really gross for like 3 weeks, a month. You know what I mean? You got to get over that hump, and your body will adjust. I'm telling you, it's rough at first, but once your body learns, oh hey, this motherfucker stopped washing my natural greasy defensiveness off every fucking day. Maybe I don't have to produce as much. I'm telling you, it's just like taking a break from the news or anything. It's tough for the first couple weeks, but once you get through it, you wonder how you ever lived without it or with it.
Well, let's see. I wonder if that'll be the same for.
Yeah. Yeah, look there. Here, this is the person you should listen to about it. She'll tell you better than me.
I was really hoping Cloud would be here so he could tell us about his habits when taking care of his dreads and stuff. And the fact that he doesn't wear shoes. Well, speaking of detoxing and taking a break, I wonder how long
bruises are coming from.
I wonder how long.
Hold hold on. I was gonna tell this story. We were me and old Wayne were driving in the truck the other day, and there's this woman sitting behind us at a stoplight. She was a black lady wearing a shower cap. I'm sure you guys have seen it, you know. And I was just remarking to Wayne how it's crazy that in order to keep their hair looking so good, they're willing to go out in a shower cap. And like it just seems like the two extremes, right? Like you're willing to go out in like curlers or a shower cap just so that like whenever, you know, when you go to work or go out or whatever, your hair is that perfect. Man, the amount of maintenance is just crazy. And on that note, I feel bad for people who put that much effort into their hair and all the products and stuff, because that's probably giving them cancer. So they probably shouldn't do that.
The product anyway.
Yeah. Anyhow, sorry, go ahead with your...
Oh, I was just say, you know, talking about taking time to adjust and get used to differences. Crimping. I wonder how long Budweiser will have to take to adjust and get used to not having the what's her face that says everybody that drinks Bud Light was too fratty. So the
frat culture of Bud.
Yeah,
Bud.
Alyssa Heinerscheid. God, why is it always the Heinerscheid or something along those lines? Anyway, the marketing VP for Bud Light since June of 2020 has taken a leave of absence following the Dylan Mulvaney thing, and the company has announced that they're replacing her with senior executive Todd Allen, and there have also been
very masculine name.
Yes,
with the beard. All right, they're swinging the pendulum the other way. I see.
I don't think quite so. They're gonna make it appear as though they swung the pendulum the other way.
Well, so of course, it's all optics. That's why, you know, the name and the beard. That's the, gotta be important. Could be a guy named Lindsay or something. You can't.
Lindsey Graham. Question his sexuality. Like
that'd be really weird. They made it Lindsey Graham.
Is it just me, or does
like the most gay looking politician, like even the actual gay politicians don't look as gay as Lindsey Graham does?
Is it just me, or does Dylan Mulvaney look like the love child of these two?
Kinda. I can see it.
Is it true that Dylan had like facial surgery?
I had read that he's had facial surgery to like shave down some of the because the male face has a very particular look to it. So they've done
I think he had a bit of like a flatter, rounder face as a dude. And I know that like hormones can do a little bit, but that jawline does look pretty shaved off there. Yeah,
I'd read that they did some surgery to shave off some of the sharp male features of some of the face bones.
Well, because some people are saying like if I had that strong a jawline, like it's like Dylan did, then
that can't be pleasant. Which, I mean, I guess when you've got this many sponsorships and everything else, you do what you got to do for the almighty dollar. But
yeah, you've been working at it for a while.
I don't know. Craziness.
Yep.
Hey, like, I mean, if you could do something as silly as this, okay? Let's be real here. If you could just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pretend to be a woman, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be a multimillionaire potentially. Like, would you not even at least like sit there and be like, well, maybe I'll, I mean, I don't know. Like
it would be funnier and play more to our troll theory if he didn't have like any facial surgery or whatever, or just no surgery. Yeah. So then one day he could just be like, yo, what's up, guys? Blah,
yo, broski, like
pounding fucking Bud Lights, what's up? Getting all fratty about it. Like, that'd be dope, But then when I heard, like, she had, like, some facial surgery, I was like, oh, man.
So I went through an article the other day where they kind of cataloged some of his exploits as a comedian and everything. And apparently he was, for a gay dude, which I don't know how the experience goes for y'all, but a lot of gay dudes I have known have also been pretty misogynistic. Like, they're not a big fan females.
Yeah, I think that's why they're gay. They hate mothers, you know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm only kidding so much.
No, I legit think you're correct. Like there's some guys like they're either gonna be like incels or they're gonna be or they're gonna become gay, and it's like, well, they're just like, well, I'll become gay because that's easier.
Yeah, at least they can get some, you know.
Yeah,
but him like during his acting and comedy career prior to doing the whole day whatever of being a girl stuff, that he had been like very misogynistic with some of his stuff and like really kind of exhibited a hatred for women, and then had even talked about like the idea for this character wearing a pink dress and the long white gloves and doing like this had been like thought out well in advance. And even like I mean a lot of the videos that he's done, the Nike like sports gear ad, like it's all just making fun of women. It's not being a woman. It's pretending to be a woman and making fun of how ridiculous they are. I mean, I'm still convinced it's a shtick. That, you know, if you got to get your face bones shaved down a little bit to make the shtick stick a little better, then you know.
In fairness, everybody in Hollywood gets some sort of facial reconstructive surgery, whether or not they're, you know, transsexual or what. You know, if they're just a regular old actor. You know, I think that's like standard. Like, it's like, oh man, it's not even because like you look bad, but then you look bad compared to everybody else who looks extra good or extra alien-like.
Yeah, in the Madonna situation, which I think she said she's trying to get hers reversed. Like, I think I saw an article the other day. Like, she's gonna get some of her
more surgery. That'll fix it.
Yeah.
She saw the side by side comparisons of her and Roseanne Barr. And they're like, where everybody was like, what kind of world is it where Roseanne is hotter than Madonna?
I gotta say, Roseanne is not aging poorly for somebody, because she was like, I remember like when the Roseanne show, it's like, oh, like she was like this like fat, gross looking lady, and now it's like, well, for being like 80 or whatever she is, she don't look bad. You know, she's actually aging pretty gracefully, I gotta say.
She slimmed down, didn't she? Like she slimmed down a good bit, or like a decent bit. I mean,
all the Ambien and Adderall, I'm sure. I thought the bitch was white. The fucking best. You guys remember that, right?
Was that the one that got her like canceled off the shows?
Well, yeah, I guess she was allegedly on Ambien, and she made a joke about the one politician lady looking like the character from Planet of the Apes. Yeah. Which, yeah. And the lady doesn't look that black, and she does look like that character.
I mean, when you pull them up side by side, it's like spot on. It's not like the joke was off base. If you pulled up the side by side pictures and there was no way even close, like she's clearly just making a monkey joke about a black politician, then you can get it. But when you look at them and they have the same fucking haircut and everything, it's like, well, yeah, that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was her apology video or something. I thought the bitch was white. So good.
Like, that's the way you do an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she didn't do the whole like, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, I need to do better. You know, I regret my actions. That stuff's kind of hella gay. You know?
Yeah, that's who it was. That's right. Yeah, then of course, we can of course point out how like there were like black and queer folk who worked on that show that then got canceled because of that and put them out of work. So yeah, how was that really helping anybody? You know,
that was always funny because it's like, oh, like you stuck it to Roseanne, but now like all the people, the POCs that you champion, like now they lost a job. Like, okay, you're funny. Like,
it was a great reference. Oh shit.
R.I.P. my search history once again, huh?
Oh no.
Would you have to delete it? You do some really bad searching?
No, I go.
Oh, he searches
Planet of the Apes, trying to find that side by side.
It shouldn't be that hard to find.
Well, I'm assuming there's Rule 34 on there. You know.
Oh God. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Like if you can.
All right. Here we go.
Will it? It is no dream. The land of Israel, dude. If you will it, it is no dream.
Hang on, I got it. Give me just a second.
All right. Hold on. We're supposed to be vamping Trey. That's our jobs while Justin does production stuff. So, how about that baseball, huh?
Yeah, I got a official game ball here.
That's cool. I like. You said you went to a minor league game. I was gonna say little league game, but that's a whole different level of creepy. Minor league game, right?
Well, I'm coaching a little league team, so.
Oh, that's right. Okay, for you, it might. If I went to a little league game, that'd be weird. Nah, man, T-ball or nothing. Minor league baseball is fun because it's like it's not the whole like to do of going to a big stadium. It's like parking's easy, and I mean it's the same damn sport.
Yeah, well, I think
the ones I went to, the games were better. They're more exciting.
Like I paid the same amount for all of us to go basically instead of just one ticket to go to Atlanta. Like if I was gonna go to watch an Atlanta Braves game, like $50 to $5 a ticket or whatever for where I want to sit. I mean, that's especially since like you have to get a ticket for if they're over 2 years old, and we have an almost 5-year-old, so that's.
You caught that ball?
Yeah, I caught this one.
I say that's always been the most terrifying thing in the world to me is going to a baseball game and that ball coming at me and me having to catch it without like a glove.
I caught it
and
while
like hurting
holding
myself in front of everybody.
I was literally, I had the 1-year-old over here, like just holding him, and then the ball comes right behind me here, and it bounces like they just got the last out of the inning. They, sometimes they'll throw the ball over to the fans or whatever after that. So the player goes over there, he throws the ball over the net, and then because they have like a huge net to block most of the balls now, like so that way people aren't just getting hit in the face or whatever.
Kind of amazes me that just happens. There's places you can take infant children and balls and hockey pucks just come flying into the crowd. It kind of blows my mind.
But yeah, the ball they throw it over. It bounced like there's like all those steps, concrete steps going up, and then it bounces off of one like nobody was there to catch it. It bounces from the steps all the way right, and I like right into my hand right. Just reach back and grab it, and I got the 1-year-old to grab it. I was like, oh. Everybody's like clapping, like
that's cool. That makes you look cool. Yeah. You get that like 5 minutes. You're like, all right. If you dropped it, you're like, damn it, for like 3 days. Oh, man, it was on the jumbotron. Oh,
all right,
man.
Here's Susan Rice, and there's the chick from Planet of the Apes. I mean, when you're right, you're right.
If you want cheap baseball tickets, go see the Rays because they're usually pretty cheap.
Not anymore.
The Rays are good these days.
Yeah, the Rays are good.
No, they have a stint every year where they do like amazing or they're undefeated or something, and they end up, The big thing with Rays games is when like the Yankees or the Red Sox or something come to town, then they're packed. And because the thing about Florida too, and especially there's
a lot of the people from New York who have homes.
Yeah, nobody's from here. Me and Wayne are like the minority. So everyone comes to see the away teams. At our sporting events. So it's a weird. It's a weird thing when you go see sports. And then also like there's a whole thing with like the Rays. They've been trying to like move the stadium and stuff because it's it's old, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they have the same problem. Like the Oakland A's,
sports.
like the
stadiums
Oakland
and the shit. So stupid. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, the Oakland A's like they're having to move to Las Vegas now because Oakland, the city of Oakland, they don't want to do anything to help their zoning. Obviously they're having to deal with the zoning and all this kind of stuff. Getting that Oakland doesn't want to fund the team anymore. So those are all the kind of like inside baseball things that they have to do to get the stadiums even built. And that's kind of stupid about it. Like
from
they
have
to deals with the city
taxpayer standpoint, I hate it. I hate professional sports.
Well,
I'm not like build all the shit on your own, but yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't need to tax me to pay for a stadium that then I can't even watch on TV if they don't sell enough tickets. Because the Bucks were they're like blacked out. We couldn't watch the Bucks on TV.
Well, it's like the Braves are blacked out like where we live, like because they assume that we're close enough. Like it's a 2-hour drive to Atlanta for me, so they assume that people from Alabama they can watch. They can actually go to an Atlanta game.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
That's stupid.
Economics nerd standpoint, it really drives me nuts.
It's like why don't just let me pay to stream it? Like because I don't care to pay. Like if they want to have an all option where or even just a team by team option, I would pay however much annually to stream all the Braves games. But they don't want to. They have this whole thing of the rights, and it's sort of that copyright law kind of thing. But it's like the owning the rights to the broadcast or whatever.
If attendance goes down, then they can't make all those claims that it creates jobs and this and that too. So they gotta keep attendance up at the physical location so that and keep getting the subsidies and whatnot. But what are you gonna do?
But yeah, minor league games are really fun because you get to see, especially you get to see some of the players who are there. They could be pros
on the way in, on the way out.
Yeah, either they're about their career's almost over, or they're about to start their career.
Yep.
But they're usually a lot better because they don't want to they're not going to be douchebags about the fact that I'm a pro. They know they're in this. They're trying to.
They made more fun plays in the games I saw. I mean, they were diving for the ball more, and I mean, it was just you could tell they were having more fun too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm not much of a sports purist, so I'd rather it be a fun time instead of what I mean, whatever. Better, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing that I'll say about MLB stadiums that's better than the minor league stadiums is that they have a lot of extra stuff outside of the game itself that you can do. But I mean, if you're just going to see the game, I don't see any point of all that other stuff. That's just for people who want to. I don't know.
That's a good point, man. And again, the Tampa Stadium, other than the fact that it's air conditioned, sucks. But that is great that it's air conditioned. But we went to a baseball game in Milwaukee, and dude, they've got they do the sausage race in the 7th inning. They've got the Brewer Pete guy, and there was I don't know if anymore, but he used to go down this slide into a big vat of beer. There's all sorts of stuff. Man, that's the only stadium in the country that sells more bratwurst than hot dogs.
Not surprised, really.
Yeah,
I mean, Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a really cool experience compared to other professional baseball games I've been to. I'm going to that particular stadium. It was really cool. And they have one of the big mechanical because it gets cold there, so I guess they can make it warm. They do the opposite, but it opens and closes, which is just crazy. I mean, that's impressive. As much as I was just bitching about professional sports stadiums and their cost, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is a driver of jobs, and it is there. But obviously, we hate it because we're having to subsidize all of that stuff. But as far as jobs, as far as all this other stuff, it is something that's helpful for the local economies to help those kind of things. The only problem is a lot of those where the teams are. Do they really need that to stimulate their local economies? Because Atlanta is already a busy city. A lot of these cities are already. This is just an extra thing for people that are there. They can go to a game on a weekend, and it's a lot more good for that local economy, and it doesn't help all these other places. I don't know.
We've got a minor league team in Lakeland, which is an hour outside of Tampa and Orlando and the big city. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of perfect because it's it's a small. I don't want to call it a stadium. You sit in the grass, on a hill. But it's somewhere. If I don't want to drive the 2 hours to go see, the Rays play in St. Pete, it's great. So you're saying, that's a great example of somewhere where it's perfect. It's not some big to do, doesn't take up a huge space. And then we also have a lot of spring training teams come down here. So
yeah, I think Tampa is the primary place for them to do spring training. They
Yankees, the Detroit Tigers is Lakeland. They come. I used to tint their players' cars and stuff when they come down. But yeah, there's lots of spring training. Like, they all come down to Florida. Yeah, lots in Tampa for sure.
I don't think that's why I don't think that's why Magoo, but I think that's because they know how Atlanta is. I mean,
I would say there might be something to it because like all the players for like the Memphis Grizzlies, none of them live in Memphis. Most of them, and in fact, a lot of them live just across the state line in Mississippi. Even though Mississippi has state sales tax, there's so they would have to pay that tax. They still live in Mississippi, just south of Memphis, because it's a lot nicer of an area, and that's the way it is in a lot of these like none of these professional players or people who have, and it's the same with politicians and actors and everybody else. Like they don't live in the
burbs. They don't
live in these cities. They don't live anywhere near these places. They get the fuck out of town as soon as you can afford to. You get out because Trader Joe's is not going to be anywhere nearby, and obviously that's like the big selling point for getting out of the inner city is got to have a Trader Joe's. Let's see. I was gonna bring us back around to this because Susan Rice, other crazy, scary looking female politicians.
I thought the bitch was white.
I don't know if this one's white or not, but she's definitely terrifying.
Ooh.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
She's a ghoul, so
she is a ghoul. Test marketing a ban on all tobacco sales. Now, by all, does this also mean the vapes and stuff like that, or is she just going to ban
all tobacco?
Just tobacco? I mean, that's tobacco
not
substitutes.
Nicotine.
So
I don't think nicotine is like in general.
They get it synthetically. So they can get it naturally, but when they do tobacco bans, they usually have the ability to then make synthetic nicotine and it still be legal. But yeah, that is a big difference. There is synthetic and natural nicotine, depending on how they get it. And the laws, when they make laws like this, it does affect what kind of nicotine you're getting. So if you wanted to make an argument that you'd rather get natural nicotine versus synthetic nicotine, then you can be more upset about this kind of stuff. If it doesn't matter, which it probably really doesn't matter, nicotine is probably just nicotine, then, whatever. But I like to be upset about it. So I'm going to say I want good natural nicotine in my vape pen because I'm healthy.
Or like just in general, like the prohibition of these kind of things, like like tobacco. Tobacco is like I don't obviously like I don't smoke and I don't really like smoking necessarily, but as long as someone like wasn't doing it in front of me or my kids, I don't really particularly care. Like, but there's been such a pushback against it that I think that's why that it's going this way. Like some people trying to ban it and
everything. It's so hold on, I want to show you guys something here.
I like this line of the article. It says they said it was disingenuous of Hochul to kick off a public awareness campaign last week, encouraging New Yorkers to buy regulated marijuana products at legalized cannabis dispensaries, but then also push for a ban on cigarettes or on tobacco.
There really is a big, and I'm not. There is a big thing where people are like, "Oh, tobacco and nicotine so bad," but they will like say, "Oh, but weed's just fucking fine." And look, I mean, obviously, I like weed, but like, it is like a weird, like thing because you really shouldn't be like, if you think smoking is bad for you, then smoking is bad for you. It's not just a weed versus a tobacco thing. That lady, it reminds me of this scene in
taxes on cigarettes.
in South Park.
To get images of
Look at all the
removed from movies and art.
They're all fucking
forced smokers out of bars and parks. Get letters from parents saying their kids are doing
the episode too, just how awful they all look. And of course, he's a food person. Here we go.
He's like extremely fat and then complaining about smoking.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite episodes ever.
That was my favorite moment of COVID. Was the woman in her car with her mask on,
like massively obese,
window cracked, pull the mask down, take a drag off of her cigarette, blow the smoke out the window, and then pull her mask back up. At that point, I was like, we have hit peak stupidity. There is no hope for the human race. Hopefully, coronavirus is every bit as bad as they say it is, and it kills us all because we don't deserve to be here anymore.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Like this whole human being experiment that God's been working on, like, you know, I think how long did the dinosaurs get before the meteor hit and they all went extinct? Like I think we've had a similar run. It's about time to start over again. Try the next thing. See how that works
reset. We will have the great reset.
Don't let a few losers ruin it for the rest of us. I'm, for the most part, enjoying my time here.
Let's see.
I won't say it was a good time, but it was a fun time. It's like...
Great job, son. Quitting smoking is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. Have $1. You didn't do anything.
Well, speaking of a very few ruining it for all the rest of us, just one in this particular case. Biden's nomination for Secretary of Labor never owned a business and lost $31 billion in California in fraudulent unemployment benefits. I just lose $31 billion. That's
failing up.
Failing
up.
Yeah. Obviously, she didn't have a big enough budget. Yeah.
That's probably the problem. If they had given her a $50 billion budget, then she could have afforded to pay people to keep up with that $31 billion that she lost.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's always the issue.
That'll be the suggestion next. Is like,
I thought the same thing, Magoo. I heard it. I was like, are we getting retarded here? What's going on? Oh shit. Oh fuck. Have any of you guys seen the Savannah Bananas? I know we're going back about 10 minutes here that Wayne was talking about.
No.
I hadn't heard of them, but they were on an upload video or something. They were talking about them on the news a few weeks ago. And yeah, they are. It's like baseball Harlem Globetrotters. And I was almost like, oh, if I had like, you know, a kid or something, I might take them to see that. Here, let me get a. It's probably.
Oh, yeah, that looks funny. Yeah, this looks like fun.
You looking it up here? I got a thing going. That was weird. Yeah, you know, all non-gay stuff like can dancing, guys in phallic-shaped costumes,
Roman candles.
Yeah, what more could you want?
Old people dancing.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Man, I might do some mushrooms and go to a Bananas game. That might be fun.
Was that some old dude pitching?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called a lemon party. Whoa, okay, it does keep getting gayer and gayer. I don't know. Oh shit.
Oh, it looks like they have like a special rule set. That's funny.
Yeah, it's meant to be, you know. Again, like I said, I prefer it be fun than actual sports.
The stilts! He's on stilts!
Oh man, someone hits a comebacker at him and fucking takes him down.
Oh my gosh.
This is amazing.
All right, we got to go to this as a podcast. We got to find a central location they're playing and go as a podcast.
Like do like sort of like a vlog style thing of it. Oh, he hit the ball on
the stilts guy.
Oh.
Everything about this is amazing, and it's only a little bit retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.